Welcome to Karma Ledger. Today's story is about betrayal, about a husband who thought he was building a life with someone he could trust until he uncovered the truth, and about the revenge he chose, one so spectacular that it burned everyone who witnessed it. Mark and Lisa had been married for decades. From the outside, they looked stable, even enviable. They had a daughter, a cozy home, holiday photos that decorated their walls. To friends, they were that couple who had weathered the storms of life together. But behind the smiles, Lisa had been keeping secrets. Mark wasn't the suspicious type. He worked long hours in management, brought his stress home, but tried to make up for it with family dinners and weekend trips. Lisa often complained about his schedule, but he thought they had found a balance, until one night. It was an accident. Mark grabbed Lisa's phone to check a reminder while his own was charging. A notification popped up, a name he didn't recognize, a preview line that made his heart sink. Against his better judgment, he opened it, and his world shattered. Explicit messages, photos, videos, weeks of evidence, undeniable. Lisa hadn't just strayed. She had plunged into an affair with a man who, of all people, used to work for Mark before being laid off during the pandemic. The betrayal was layered, personal, intimate, professional. Mark described the moment like being stabbed, then forced to twist the knife himself with every scroll. He sat in silence for hours, unable to sleep, unable to confront her. Every time she smiled at him the next day, he felt the ground slip further. At first, he thought of lawyers, quiet divorce papers, maybe therapy. But anger doesn't whisper. It roars. And then came the idea. Lisa's 50th birthday was around the corner. A grand celebration had been planned. Friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, everyone who mattered in her life. And Mark thought, what better stage to reveal the truth? So he began to plan. Mark spent nights on his laptop, building a PowerPoint presentation. At first, it was a cold dossier, screenshots, captions, timestamps. But then he realized something. Shock alone wasn't enough. If he wanted the betrayal to land with full weight, he had to start with the beauty of their life together. So the presentation began as a highlight reel of their marriage, photos of their first date, their wedding day, the birth of their daughter, family vacations, Christmas mornings, smiling faces, laughter, joy. He added captions. Sweet, funny, nostalgic, enough to draw tears and applause from the audience. Lisa herself would be basking in the glow of their life story, unaware of the storm coming. And then, with a single click, he would flip the switch. The night of the party arrived. The house was buzzing. Guests poured in, glasses clinked, laughter filled the air. Lisa was radiant, her hair done, her dress perfect. She was turning 50, surrounded by people she loved. Mark took the stage. He raised his glass. He began with charm, stories of how they met, their early struggles, the little victories, the inside jokes. Guests leaned in, nodding, smiling. Lisa dabbed at her eyes, moved by the tenderness. Then he dimmed the lights. The screen lit up. The slideshow began. At first, it was everything Lisa expected. The audience laughed at baby photos, sighed at wedding pictures, clapped at milestones. The room was warm, full of nostalgia. And then click. The next slide appeared. Not a wedding photo, not a birthday memory, but a screenshot of Lisa's messages to another man, explicit, detailed, accompanied by her photos and videos. The room froze. Gasps echoed. Someone dropped a drink. Guests turned to Lisa, who sat paralyzed, her face drained of color. And Mark stood there, stone-faced, clicking through slide after slide. Conversations, videos, proof undeniable. Lisa whispered his name, pleading, but Mark ignored her. When it seemed like the humiliation had peaked, Mark added his final twist. The cake rolled out. But not the cake Lisa had chosen. Mark had swapped it. This cake was decorated with images of Lisa and her lover, captured and printed for all to see. Guests who moments ago had been ready to sing now stood in stunned silence. The happy birthday song began, awkward, off-key, dying out halfway as people realized what they were looking at. Lisa covered her face, trembling, and then Mark pulled out an envelope, divorce papers. He handed them to her in front of everyone. The silence that followed was suffocating. The aftermath was immediate chaos. Lisa's parents shouted, calling Mark cruel, sadistic, unforgivable. They tried to defend her, tried to shame him for the spectacle. But Mark's family, especially his daughter, stood by him. His daughter's face was a mix of anger and sorrow, but her words were firm. "She did this, not you." The fallout rippled fast. Friends whispered, relatives argued, guests left in shock, some refusing to look either of them in the eye. Lisa admitted everything. She confessed the affair, blaming Mark's work hours, her loneliness, her desire to feel wanted again. She said her lover made her feel young, alive, but her excuses only deepened the wound. And the cruelest part? The lover was a man Mark once trusted, a man he had employed. Betrayal inside betrayal. After the party, Lisa's parents threatened legal action for defamation and humiliation, but even Lisa stopped them. She admitted she had earned every ounce of it. She signed the divorce papers without a fight. Still, the damage was permanent. Mark's daughter was left scarred by the spectacle. Lisa's reputation was in ruins. The lover's name circulated too, his marriage collapsing in the fallout. And Mark? For a brief moment, he felt powerful, vindicated. But as the weeks passed, the weight of what he'd done sank in. He wondered if he'd gone too far. If the slideshow should have gone to a lawyer, not a crowd. If the cake should have been spared. If his daughter should have been shielded from the public destruction of her mother. But there was no rewinding. The internet whispered. Friends talked. Co-workers remembered. That night became a permanent part of their story. Lisa expressed regret in the months that followed. She admitted she had destroyed the trust, begged for forgiveness, wished she could take it back. But words couldn't erase the humiliation. The marriage was over. Mark tried dating, tried therapy, tried to move on. Some nights the loneliness nearly crushed him. He admitted to dark thoughts, but his daughter kept him grounded. She was his anchor, his reason to keep living. And little by little, he rebuilt. Here's the truth about revenge. It feels powerful in the moment. It feels like balance. But it burns everyone around you, including yourself. Mark's slideshow may have exposed the affair. His cake may have humiliated Lisa. His papers may have ended the marriage. But they also scarred his daughter, destroyed families, and left him with a reputation as the man who detonated a life in front of an audience. Revenge is never free. The cost is always higher than you think. So was it worth it? Only Mark can decide. But here, on Karma Ledger, we tell these stories so you can weigh the cost for yourself. Thank you for listening.